tonight to have Dinesh Chekko live in the studio. Dinesh joined Toastmasters Club in February 2010. He achieved his Competent Communicator Award in January 2012 and his Advanced Communicator Bronze Award in October 2014. Dinesh served as President of the Toastmasters Club in 2013-14. And so tonight I'd like to welcome you, Dinesh, to the studio to tell us about what it was like to be President of a Toastmasters Club. So to start off with, what was your vision for the Toastmasters Club when you first took over in the role as President?
It is a very important question when I took over the club's presidency in 2013, because at that time I took over a club that just survived from a potential collapse. My initial goal was to ensure the club's strength is consolidated. However, my views of what I want to achieve in the club shifted in February 2014.
And so what did they shift to?
I realized some of my vision of this consolidation of a club, it's too vague. Hence, I decided to narrow down to something more tangible, something the executive could take on. So I challenged my executive at that time in January 2015 and February 2015. 3 goals. First, we have to get our intranet easy speak, which all of my club members use today to indicate attendance and to communicate. That's the first thing. Second, reviving our club website, at least to show that our club has a website. And thirdly, for our executive's point of view, to push ourselves to achieve a whole new level of KPI, which is the Distinguished Club Program, from 5 to 7, a goal that we have not achieved ever since I signed up as a member in 2010.
And did you achieve those goals in your year, Dinesh?
I'm very pleased to say that we have achieved, and it is climbing like Mount Everest. It is possible. I have to work together with my team with the limited resources to push and motivate them. And finally, by June 2014, we managed to attain all the 3 goals. And I decided to take out my entire executive for dinner to celebrate a success which I initially thought I couldn't achieve.
Was that the only highlight of the year, or were there other highlights in the year as your year as President?
For me, the highlight that's going to last beyond my presidency is actually my Easy Speak plan. The idea came from my treasurer in October 2013, and I decided to organize a project to get the executive involved. Instead of me doing the demonstration of Easy Speak, I approached my executive. Who are you willing to demonstrate the club, to set up a system? Bear in mind, our executive was just at the learning stage. Now I'm going to trust one of you in front of the whole club, just present it. And from that, we got a successful presentation by the Sergeant at Arms, and subsequently kept on pushing our members, and it took some time. And today, I'm very pleased to see Easy Speak is used regularly.
Well, that's great, a great achievement, Dinesh, and I think that's wonderful. But I suppose there are also downsides to a role as President. And if you could have your time over again, is there anything that you would have done differently in your role?
So let's talk specifically what was the downside of my period of my presidency. During my whole 1-year term of presidency, my executive has experienced a significant turnover in some of the roles. And secondly, all our executives had a very limited time they are willing to dedicate for the role. And for me, looking back, how can I redo this in a better way, is to tell the executive right from the start that we should treat this whole relationship as not so much as president to someone below, but more as equal, to treat ourselves as friends. Hence also to bring more social aspect to this whole relationship with the executive, so that when they do their role, it's not out of obligation. And hence also this should also transpire to the whole club members. I feel the current presidency has finally took on board on this particular topic. If I become the president again, I will focus more on the social aspects not only for the executive, but all the members.
That's excellent. Now, when we're president of a club, we're the leader, and so what did you learn about your leadership style while you were president of the club?
There's a couple of things I've actually learned during my leadership. One of the very important things, clothing. You as the president needs to dress up as the president. And of course, I had some of my friends pointed to me, you have to change your clothing style as you are a leader or as a normal person. Hence, that's the first thing I've learned. Secondly, how do you manage your executive, especially when I set the 3 goals. We only had 4 or 5 months to achieve, and consider that it is actually very hard. And for me, I learned how to utilize the minimum amount of resources, the minimum amount of time that each executive dedicates to push through what we could do, and also to be understanding that not all of us are able to break out the imbalance they have between work, life, and also these roles. If you ask me, these are the 2 important things I have learned from this presidency.
Clearly, your presidency was a success. What would you say to someone who's thinking about standing for the role of president of the club in the forthcoming elections?
For all of our members to know, being the president or taking up that role is a turning point in your life. I strongly encourage especially the younger members to take up this role. For one, because it teaches you what it's like to be a leader. Second, what it's like to manage an executive of different personalities. Bear in mind, it's not you who nominate the executive, it's the club. Hence, there would be clashes of personality. There will be clashes of values. And that's where you learn. But I strongly urge any members who are willing to step up, that once you take up this role, you will be a different person by the end of the term.
Dinesh, it's been a real pleasure to interview you this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, our studio audience, could you please join me in thanking our guest for tonight's interview, Dinesh Chacko.